Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've made it out to Botallack Mines right here on the lovely Ting Coast in Cornwall. What a fantastic location this is to shoot, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Conditions, well, they're really overcast today, but unfortunately that is what it is. But the tide I think is on its way out, which is going to make it a little bit more exposed on the rocks below the actual mine shaft itself. So capturing the classic images, I'm going to have a little bit more rock between the top of the cliff edge where the mine shaft is and obviously where the sea is, but that's not too bad, and hopefully we'll come up with a couple of other different compositions as well. So let's see what I come up with. First composition, just literally plonk the tripod straight down here and got a lovely view of the mine shafts. A little bit of the foreground of these lovely rocks that are picking up the light here, and obviously a bit of a layer, a little bit of heather in the foreground interest, then the sea, and then obviously the mines as well, working out really quite nice. Just trying to build up a bit of confidence now to venture a little bit closer to make sure I get a bit more of this sea, because that's the kind of real atmosphere that's going to be synonymous for this area, isn't it? But what a location, and how perilous is that to be perched right on the side of the rocks there, with obviously the sheer force of the waves and the wind coming right in. But what an amazing location this is. Settings for the camera: f11, ISO 100, 17mm on the lens. I'm bracketing the image. Base image though is 160th of a second, but they're just because of the conditions, but working out really quite nice for that one. Blending it together because there is quite a lot of dynamic range here, but hopefully work out really quite well. For the next composition, edging a little bit closer to the edge, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to venture any further. I don't really want to test it. But with this image, working out really quite nicely. 17mm on the lens, getting a lovely detail in the foreground as well, with some of this heather and the really lovely white rocks here as well. Leading down to the sweeping of the sea, obviously the tin mines, and then up to one of the chimneys up at the top there as well. and making sure when I was framing it up, just slightly readjusting my composition, because I had one of the rocks here that was really interesting, but it was right in the bottom right hand corner of the composition. I didn't really like that at all. So just slightly moving a foot or so to my left, I was able to sort of come up with a better composition, I feel. Less need to mess around in Photoshop afterwards. But yeah, working out really quite nicely now, and the light is, the sun is coming through the clouds and illuminating the side of these wheel houses here. Let's just reset that up quickly. What am I doing? Quickly just setting up for the bracket image. So on the R, what I've done is actually set it up so when it takes a bracket image, it's actually taking 5 exposures. So I've really got a lot of detail there with obviously each of those images, and then compiling them together in Lightroom afterwards will work out really quite nicely. And just that extra information that I've got from those 2 extra images will hopefully make it a bit more of a blended image and work out really quite nice now. I'm really loving the detail here, and this is an amazing location. I think what I'm going to look at now is changing over my lens and trying to get in a little bit tighter and seeing what other compositions I can come up with. Next composition, got the camera in vertical orientation for a fantastic image yet again. And to be frank, you really can't go wrong with compositions with this landscape in front of you. This one, I've got the camera, as I say, in vertical orientation, about 35mm on the lens. And what I'm actually trying to do, there's a little bit of rock in the foreground here, and I wanted it in the image. I kind of zoomed in a little bit further just to get the edge of the cliff sort of disappear into the bottom left hand corner of the image. Yes, that's very nice. Took that image, cranked the camera back, zoomed, took the zoom back a bit, widened it open, and found that obviously these rocks look a little bit more interesting in the foreground. So again, got that. Obviously with the sea, and then obviously the main subject, of course, the mine shafts there as well. Working out really quite nicely. Now for the image, I've actually got it set up on, wait the camera back up again, f11 ISO 100 as always, 1/60th of a second as the base image, again obviously bracketing with those 5 images as well, working out really quite nice. And obviously with the waves crashing in as well, hopefully work out really quite nice. I have got my filter kit, so I think now, yeah, want to capture a long exposure. Got to when you come to this location, haven't you? What an amazing location. Just think it, when it's here, when they were building these mine shafts, and what the conditions must have been like. Absolutely brutal. When obviously you've got these weather storms coming in. Absolutely unreal, to be fair. My final image, I've changed the camera over into vertical orientation, taking a very similar composition wise to what I took earlier. However, this time long exposure with a 10 stop filter on the front. 45 seconds, yeah, working out a little bit too long probably, blowing out a couple of the highlights, but yeah, maybe just need to adjust that one slightly, which I will do before I actually leave this location. But what a fantastic location it is. One of those locations that I've wanted to come to shoot, and it's one of those things that I think one of the recent vloggers, Gary Goff, was here saying it's most photographed mine in the world, and luckily enough today I've been able to tick that box off my photography list. But what an amazing location to come and shoot. Hopefully you've enjoyed the images. If you have, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed it that much, please leave a comment, and again, if you've even enjoyed it even more, please consider subscribing. Thanks everyone, and until next time, take care. Tell you what, take up vlogging if you want to get fit, because you know I have to do the steps coming back and forth to pick up the camera. Cheers for watching, take care.